You ever notice how some people get stressed and immediately start cleaning like they're being graded? The breakup happens, the deadline hits, the family group chat explodes, and suddenly they're wiping baseboards and reorganizing a spice rack that was already fine. Meanwhile, someone else is stress-eating cereal out of the box and staring into space. Same stress, completely different coping strategy. And if you're the stress cleaner, you already know the weird part. It rarely starts as, I should tidy up. It starts as, I can't think with this mess, even if the mess is basically a mug and 2 emails. So, what's going on? Why does your brain decide that the solution to emotional chaos is aligning your t-shirts by color? First layer, control. Stress is your brain detecting uncertainty or threat, and when you can't control the actual problem, you control what's nearby. Cleaning is a small, predictable system. You do action, you get result. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Life doesn't give you that. Relationships don't give you that. Your boss definitely doesn't give you that. But a cluttered counter? That's a problem your hands can solve in 10 minutes. That creates a sense of agency, which is a fancy way of saying, I can still make something happen. And your nervous system likes that a lot. This is also why cleaning spikes during times of limbo. Waiting for news. Not knowing where you stand with someone. Not being sure if you're doing well enough. The brain hates open loops. Cleaning closes a loop right now. You see the before, you create the after, and your body gets a little exhale. Second layer, cognitive load. Visual clutter isn't just aesthetic. It's information. Every object in your peripheral vision is a tiny tap on your attention. Put me away, decide about me, remember me, deal with me later. When you're stressed, your working memory is already full. So cleaning becomes less about cleanliness and more about reducing input. Fewer items out means fewer prompts. Your environment stops yelling at your brain. Some research suggests clutter can increase feelings of stress for certain people, especially if they're already anxious or mentally overloaded. Not because they're weak, because their attention system is sensitive. They're running too many tabs. Cleaning is closing tabs. And there's a reward loop here. You scrub, you see progress, you feel a little better. That's your dopamine system learning a simple equation. Effort equals visible improvement. A lot of life doesn't pay out that cleanly. You can work hard at communication and still get ghosted. You can work hard at school and still feel behind. But you can wipe a table and it becomes clean. Instant feedback. Your brain is like finally a problem with customer support. But here's what nobody talks about. Stress cleaning often isn't about calm. It can be about channeling agitation. When you're anxious, your body gets mobilized. That energy has to go somewhere. Some people pace, some people pick their nails, some people scroll until their eyes hurt, some people clean. It's socially acceptable fidgeting with a productive label. You're not spiraling, you're being responsible. It's a way to metabolize nervous energy without sitting still with the feeling. That can be healthy. It can also be a distraction that keeps you from dealing with the actual thing. Because cleaning has a trick. It feels like progress even when it's not progress on your real problem. So you can end up with a sparkling apartment and the same unresolved conversation. And you might even feel proud and frustrated at the same time. Proud because you did something. Frustrated because you still feel off. That contradiction makes people clean harder, like the next drawer will finally fix their mood. Sometimes it helps, sometimes it becomes a loop. Another layer is identity. Some stress cleaners learned early that order equals safety. Maybe mess meant conflict. Maybe a caregiver got critical when things were out of place. Maybe cleanliness was the one way to avoid negative attention. If you grow up in a home where tension could explode at random, you get good at controlling what you can. A neat room becomes a form of self-protection. Not because you love bleach, because order reduces the chances of chaos. You can still see this in adult life. Cleaning as a way to preempt judgment. If everything is tidy, nobody can criticize you for being lazy or not trying. It's like armor made of folded laundry. And status sneaks in too. In many cultures, cleanliness is moralized. Clean equals disciplined. Messy equals irresponsible. So when you're stressed and you already feel like you might be failing, cleaning becomes a quick way to feel like a competent person again. Not just a person who's struggling. I might not have my life together, but this kitchen is under control. That's self-esteem repair. There's also a sensory angle. Cleaning changes the environment in a way your body can feel immediately. The smell of soap, the smoothness of a cleared table, the visual symmetry of aligned objects. For some people, that sensory reset is grounding. It pulls attention out of racing thoughts and into the present. It's basically a low-tech nervous system hack. Use your hands, use repetition, create predictability. That's why people gravitate to tasks like vacuuming, folding, or organizing. Repetitive motion plus clear rules equals temporary relief. Your brain likes rules when emotions don't have any. Now, compare this to people who get stressed and become messier. That's not lazy. That's a different stress response. Shutdown. When stress tips into overwhelm, executive function drops. Planning, decision-making, initiation, all of it gets harder. For them, cleaning is not soothing. It's one more demand. So they avoid it, which creates more mess, which creates more stress, and now they feel shame on top of anxiety. Stress cleaners sometimes don't get that. They think just clean, you'll feel better. But for someone in shutdown, just clean feels like just climb a mountain. This is where it gets weird. Stress cleaning can be both emotional regulation and emotional avoidance, depending on the intention behind it. If you're cleaning to settle your body so you can think, that's regulation. If you're cleaning to not feel what you're feeling, that's avoidance with better branding. You can tell the difference by what happens after. After you're done, do you have more clarity and you can face the problem? Or do you immediately hunt for the next thing to fix because stillness feels unsafe? That's a big clue. Perfectionism also plays a role. Some people use cleaning as a way to create a world where nothing is wrong. When you're stressed, you feel flawed, behind, exposed. A perfectly organized space gives the illusion of a perfectly handled life. It's a way to quiet inner criticism. But perfectionism is never satisfied, so the relief is short. You clean, you feel better, then your brain scans for the next imperfection, because that's what perfectionist brains do. They're threat detectors wearing a productivity costume. There's also the social script. Cleaning is a caring behavior. It's how some people show love, repair, and apology without words. If you grew up in a home where feelings weren't discussed, you might have learned to cope by doing. When you can't say, "I'm scared," you scrub the sink. When you can't ask for reassurance, you reorganize the closet. Action replaces vulnerability. And it works. Kind of. It keeps you functional. It also keeps you distant from your own emotional needs. One more angle. Cleaning creates a boundary. When life feels intrusive, when everyone wants something from you, cleaning is a socially acceptable reason to not engage. "I'm busy" sounds better when you're holding a sponge. It buys you solitude without admitting you need solitude. It's control plus quiet. And for people who feel responsible for everyone's mood, cleaning can become a way to manage the household emotional climate. If the space is calm, maybe people will be calm. It's not logical, but it's learned. So, is stress cleaning good or bad? It's both. It's a smart coping tool when it helps you regulate and regain agency. It's a problem when it becomes compulsive, when it's driven by fear, shame, or the belief that you're only okay when everything is in order. The goal isn't to stop cleaning. The goal is to notice what you're using it for. Are you clearing a space so you can breathe? Or are you trying to erase a feeling by making your environment perfect? Because those are two different psychologies with the same behavior. So next time you catch yourself reorganizing a drawer during an emotional storm, don't just label it productive or crazy. Ask the real question. What am I trying to control right now? Sometimes the answer is this room, and sometimes it's my mind. And that explains a lot.